Hi, and welcome to the LIFT program. I'm Celeste.
I'm Silvana.
Yes, we are the co-creators of the program, and we would like to talk a little bit about some specialized mini programs that we have just added to our overall programming. And these include programs for athletes, incontinence, diastasis recti, prolapse, constipation, and motherhood.
Yes.
Yeah. So, athletes.
Okay. Athlete, it's a big deal for them because they are very strong and therefore you think they have zero issues.
Right.
Not the case, actually.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So we both work with and want to highlight that we've done a pretty short program specific for athletes, and it really helps to highlight some of the muscle imbalance because they tend to be very strong globally, but some of the intrinsic muscles and sort of finer muscle connections are a little weak. The adductors and glutes sometimes are weak. So we're able to kind of tie into that, and there's a lot of tension around the pelvic floor, which creates tears and other types of problems.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of issues with breathing, especially when they're very active and they don't have the core to support them, and then they tend to have too much stress going in the abdomen, the pressure is not right, and then they get a lot of issues with the pelvis itself, with some hernias or something like that that we hope they can prevent.
Absolutely. So it's a really nice balanced program to focus on those areas and helping to bring more balance where it's needed.
Yeah.
So another one of our programs, mini programs, is for incontinence, and this issue is really near and dear to both women and men, but especially women after a certain age or after childbirth, with estrogen loss sometimes, and just with sheer age and bladder use over time and other stresses that happen. So we have a program that focuses on helping the aspect of incontinence that we can help, which is related to the musculature.
Yeah, and also I have to say this is one of the problems that is more day to day, because if you need to run to the bathroom, it's going to happen every day. So I think that when you get the muscle working, it's going to be a big effect on your day-to-day life.
Absolutely, absolutely, and everybody wants to be able to have that extra time without having to be running to the bathroom all the time. So the program is, we won't say short and sweet, but we try to make each of these programs very doable for regular practice. That's not like, oh my God, I have to do my 2-hour program or 1-hour program. These are really all within 20 to 35 minutes.
Yes.
So they're very doable, and you can do them throughout the week to keep regular with your practice, and you'll actually look forward to continuing to do it. So creates balance in all of the muscles and connection in some of the muscles that tend to be weak, and a little bit of release in some of those that are sometimes a little over tight but also weak.
Yeah, and one of the things that is important to know that in this specific program we don't do a lot of exercise standing or sitting. That's gravitation wise. But of course, in full programs, after you graduate this one, you can do all positions.
Absolutely. Once you're able to get a little bit more of a handle, you can do
the full one.
The full one, absolutely. So another program that we have developed is specific to a condition, which is an aesthetic condition, as opposed to an orthopedic condition, which a lot of the other programs revolve around. It's diastasis recti. And it's really sort of a splitting that happens with the tissues in the abdomen. It comes down and they kind of split apart. So we have a really nice, doable program for women who want to address this, and they can do it all the time. This one's actually really short and sweet and hard.
It's hard, and again, a lot of athletes tend to have this issue
because of overtension.
And so it's not an easy program. It's doable. You have a lot of ab work, rectus work, obliques work. It's not easy, but it's fun.
Yes, and so a lot of times that's what we've seen. I mean, most of the candidates that have the diastasis are generally of the stronger, more athletic variety, and either they were exercising through pregnancy or before pregnancy, or just, you know, and they're so strong in their center that they're doing certain things and then the tissues start to pull apart. So this little program that we have will be challenging but effective.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll close a bit the gap here. Yeah. And again, it's important to know there's no harm in exercising with this particular issue, so don't worry about that.
Right, and the main thing that we want to focus on is creating flexion-based movements and oblique connections to bring the tissue. There are studies that show that those particular ranges of motion and movement sequences help to reconnect to the best of your ability, the tissues, as opposed to focusing on even the deepest. You know, it was like core strength, but when you focus on the deep transversus in that particular situation,
it's not a good idea.
It does the opposite actually and kind of spreads it a little further apart. So it's an interesting point of fact. Yeah. Super interesting. I was actually kind of highlighted when, you know, as we learned it, like, wow, that's, you know, that's interesting news.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Motherhood.
Big issue.
Big, well, yes.
Covers a lot of things.
Covers a lot of things, exactly. And we are both moms, and I've had 2 children, and Silvana has 1 child.
Have 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have been through it. We know all about it. And the program that we've developed for motherhood, we call it Motherhood because it's pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and post-pregnancy, but the workout can be done at all phases. Yeah. So it's not like you can only do this when you're right before you're pregnant or you're looking to get pregnant. You can only do this when you're pregnant. You can only do that after pregnancy. So it's doable throughout. There are a couple of obviously things that we will shift around because obviously when you're in your second trimester, third trimester, you are not laying on your stomach to do exercises. Okay, that's the only part that you really have to take out. And you may get to a point where you want to put a little pillow under your head if you are, you know, in the middle and toward the end of your pregnancy. But other than that, the program is
excellent, actually.
And
it's not very short, so you can, even if you have to take something off the program, you still get a lot of work done.
Yeah, even if you're doing bits and pieces of it. This one's about 40 minutes maybe. Of all of our short programs, it's the longest, but there are so many elements that are really important for pregnancy, which are not only strength building, but also flexibility inducing, but not over flexibility, you know, not going too far with stretching because you can overstretch as you're going through the pregnancy. So we're trying to create connections and awareness that will help you carry and keep you strong so that you are really able to just get up and go. And I'll share the pushing tip here in the video. I think it's better than typing it out. So we are taught a certain way how to push or we're told a certain way how to push when we are trying to deliver our children. And it's kind of what they say is like bearing down, and as if you're, you know, using the toilet or something to that effect. And well, I tried that with my first child because I was, you know, listened. I was a good student. I was listening to what I was told, and I'm like, this does not work. So it took me about an hour to push him out, and he came out with a cone head. But, you know, all fine, you know, all healthy and good. However, for my second child, I had a little more awareness of what really needed to happen at that point with all of the other awareness that we have and what we do for a living. And it dawned on me that it is completely counterproductive to do it the way they told me to. And so the best approach is to learn how to contract your abdominals and relax through, you know, kind of like allow your pelvic floor to do its job. Allow your abdominals to contract, but if you are bearing down everywhere, you're actually doing the opposite, and you're not letting the baby come out. So it's a little warped, and I just think it's because they don't really understand some of the nuances. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, you could try that, and it really works. And my second child came out with just like a couple of pushes, and all was good. And No episiotomy. First one I actually had episiotomy.
No, fine.
I didn't want it. Second one, no, because you have to be a little patient and you just have to
do it.
Yeah. So another significant concern for women, primarily, and another program that we've created revolves around prolapse. Yeah, and prolapse happens in a number of degrees, if you want to talk to the degrees.
Well, first of all, we need to understand there's two main components in that. There's the muscular one that we can really do a lot of work for it, and then there's like the ligament issue that could be genetic and it could be age appropriate, since the hormones are not doing their same usual work, and it's the most best result would be working with the muscles. And again, even if you have a mixed kind of problem, even if you have half and half, again, it's gonna help you a lot to get the muscle working and the organ supported much better.
So the program actually has you doing exercises that raise your hips up, so that we're tilting the pelvis and helping the organs find a better home while you're doing the work. And we use a particular prop in the video, but there are some, you can use rolled up towels, you can get a pillow on an angle.
Whatever you have.
Whatever works to kind of prop you up, even if it's a little more than we even have when we're showing the video. It's fine.
Yeah, you just want to have the gravity pull the organs towards the cavity and the chest and not outside. And again, in this program, we don't have standing or sitting sequences, just because of the gravity pulling. But again, if you get better and it's more of a muscular thing, then go ahead and then do the full program with no issues whatsoever.
Great. Of a mini program that we have developed for constipation, and constipation is often not thought of as a pelvic floor issue. It's not 100% all the time a pelvic floor issue, but oftentimes there is a pelvic floor component to the constipation issue. And so by doing exercises that help address the pelvic floor as a whole, can help address the issue of constipation.
Yeah, that's an issue of over tightness and over contraction, and actually this program is based on movement and trying to get the hip moving and the pelvis moving,
and all of the opening.
And opening and hopefully relaxing some of the muscles and the tissue over there. And just one more important thing to say, that if you have hemorrhoids or some issue with bleeding, it's not the right time to do this program. You should just wait a bit, and when you get again leveled and have no issues with bleeding or severe pain, to do this, because it wouldn't be a good idea doing it if you are bleeding or really in pain.
And you'll note, if you do other mini programs, you will notice that some of the exercises are the same that we do for, say, constipation and incontinence, or motherhood, or anything else, but the cueing is a little bit different. So even I'm thinking about the heel glide specifically, and the contraction of the sit bones. So there's a contraction that we work on creating in a number of the programs, the mini programs. And in the constipation program, we do not cue the same contraction, because we're just wanting the release and the movement, and we don't want that extra hold, because some of the other problems are related to weakness and lack of muscle tone. And in constipation, sometimes there's too much tone, and we need to have it
release a bit. So